Chapter 5. The Golden Voice Issue. What you need to get set may seem obvious to anyone who's had more than a passing curiosity about home voice work.
You need a computer, a mic, some copy, and an internet connection.
A+ for the day. We can all go home now and crank out that first juicy contract. Yeah, well, if it were that simple, everybody'd be doing it. And even if everybody already seems to be doing it, were it truly that simple, everybody'd be doing it successfully. That difference is pretty important in this arena. I can't cite a source for this statistic, but I'd once read on a VO industry web forum something to the effect that for every person actively making more than something like $500 a month in home-based voice work, 1,000 people have tried and failed. Now, that number seems high to me, but even if we cut that down to a tenth, it still means that 99 people went away with empty hands, lighter wallets, and a closet full of stuff that will soon be gifted to a child next Christmas, and one lone person got some traction. That, I believe. This business in and of itself isn't hard work in the way a plumber, road flagger, or customer service representative job is. Cracking into this business is. It has a way of breaking backs, blowing budgets, crushing morale, and shattering dreams. A lot of this comes down to people's ideas of what they need to do versus what they really need to do to get a foot in the door or to even start at all. So we're going to touch upon that last point above first. I'm going to kick this off with an example that literally just landed in front of me today on an industry discussion internet group, although I've seen hundreds of the exact same thing over the years.
Hey guys. Great group. New question here. I've been told that I have a golden voice, and everybody always says I'd be great at voiceovers. I've never done anything like this in all my 21 years of living large, so I figured I'd ask you guys what I need to do to land my first commercial or job. Thanks, and keep rocking.
My reply was similar to the 9,748 previous posts like this. A golden voice does not equal a golden reed. The former are a dime a dozen. The latter are rare diamonds indeed. So let's unpack this a bit. We appear to have a 20-something-year-old young person with a voice most people judge as being golden reed.
You sound just like an announcer.
Who is thinking about pursuing this as a line of work, but has zero experience. Mostly because at that age, you don't have much experience in, well, anything. He's asking for help in the most general way because he doesn't actually know what to ask for help on specifically. Well, first, he gets a pat on the back for at least taking time to ask for direction, but he's going to get the same answer from most members in a forum full of experienced people. Your voice means less than you think. It's how you deliver the message and how you produce the product. Give it a shot and get back to us with specific questions.
Wait, your voice doesn't matter?
Well, put most simply, not really. Let's take advertising, for example. I want you to think about voices you've heard in the past that stand out to you. Voices you can recall off the top of your head. Sure, there's the Morgan Freemans, Matthew McConaughey's, Susan Sarandons, and Meryl Streeps of Hollywood who've all done very regular and visible VO work, but they normally only lend their voices to very high-end brands. Drill down a bit further. Think of the ads you hear on your car radio during your commute as you listen to that big popular coast-to-coast radio program. You'll hear advertisements for national or international products or services, and they may have a star or two they use, like maybe Jeff Goldblum or Leah Remini. Two rather unique voices, but not ones most would consider golden. What about that ad for your local car dealership? Maybe that spa by the mall, the pest control service, the public service announcement about wearing your seatbelt. Those voices are kinda generic, aren't they? They may even be voices you might not immediately like or affiliate with.
What on earth are you doing on a radio ad? Wait, I heard you talking about that walk-in clinic too. You sound like my mom.
Oh, macho intense ant killer guy is now telling me about the new steakhouse opening on Grand and Fifth?
I think you're starting to see my point. We all have a classic idea about golden voices, but the more local you go, the more uncharacteristically classic and less golden we get. But the local and international voices generally tend to share something outside of the characteristics of their voices, which are often very different. The way they read. The read is an industry term that loosely translates into how the talent delivers the script or copy. Diction, inflection, intonation, mood. No matter if it's a famous star or a local unknown, the way they deliver is similar. The star voices often get mixed to sound like the voice of God, another industry term, that is gifting you with a very important message that should make you feel inspired. But the regional and local voices that you tend to hear more regularly all tend to sound either like an average old friend talking to you or kinda over the top and intense in a near comical way. But the read is similar. The read is the unifying factor. They all have solid diction, similar inflection, controlled intonation, and the ability to establish a mood. This even goes for those
What on earth are you doing on a radio ad?
type voices that you tend to hear over and over again in your own backyard. You hear them a lot because those voices get remembered. Those voices cut through the background noise and the complacency we all tend to experience when we're just sitting in traffic, zoning out, reading bumper stickers, and simply waiting for the music to come back on. They get noticed. Noticed means heard. And companies want to be noticed and heard, no matter if it's by inspiring you, making you loll, or mildly annoying you. So this idea of the golden voice being a golden ticket is an error in thinking that, while kinda nice and a bit flattering to hear coming from your Aunt Cleo or your gaming buddies, doesn't really hold water, because those compliments are coming from inexperienced people whose opinions don't really matter and are judging the wrong characteristics in the first place. So for your first homework assignment, I want you to do the following. Stop turning off or mindlessly skipping past advertisements that feature voiceovers, no matter where you are, the car, surfing the internet, the living room, etc. Start becoming an active listener to these things, but don't concern yourself with the message. Listen actively to the words they're saying and how they're saying them, the speed, the volume, the diction and pronunciation, and the inflections, that is, the pitch and tone patterns in a person's speech and where the voice rises and falls. Start a practice of talking back to the voice you hear. Unless you're on a bus full of people or in bed with your partner or some other place where it'd make people question your mental health. Obviously, this will be a bit of a battle between you and the ad, but just have a go. Start doing this on the regular. You'll likely notice a few things about yourself, your voice, and the way you speak. This will help lay the groundwork for you as you move forward in this pursuit and this book. And one other thing to throw onto your to-do pile that's not related to listening to radio or TV advertising. Grab a book and start reading aloud. It doesn't really matter what it is, although make sure it's something you won't have a problem continuing to read, either by way of content or something full of unpronounceable words. Maybe start to read to your kids or your partner or the dog. If you were getting into marathon running, you wouldn't do a 5K after 14 years as a dedicated couch potato. You'd start exercising, lay off the donuts, and get your running tools back in shape. Your mouth, your vocal cords, your lips, your lungs, your diaphragm, and your brain all need to start training in order to get in shape. You often don't think about them in the same way you do your knees, biceps, or calves, but they're really no different. I highly advise you to take a week or so off from this book and truly practice this. It really will help get you in shape as we move on down the set list.